Thank you so much. All right, we are on. 30. Yes. I'm doing on it anyway. We are on. Great.
It sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Welcome to the April 2nd Southampton School Board meeting. This is the first meeting since the election, so it's the reorganization meeting for the board, and we'll get to that in just a minute, but please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I wonder if our friend would start that for us. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. That is good information. So our first order of business is nominations for a board chair. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Alex to serve as chair of the Southampton School Board.
Is there a second to that nomination?
I will second that.
Are there any other nominations?
There's no objections there, so I guess I have to
Seeing none.
go with it. All right.
All those in favor? Okay, so the election is unanimous. And Alex, it is your meeting.
All right. Let's go for the. Do you want me to do the other two or just?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Let's do the appointment of the board vice chair. Who was last year?
He was.
Becky.
I
All right,
nominate
so
Lauren.
I'll second that. Okay.
And all in favor? Thank you.
Do you have the list of who was what?
Should be in here.
Oh, when we
It's
hit
at the bottom. So if you look at the 25-26 positions, Becky served on operations with Lauren as the alternate. Becky served on policy with Alex as the alternate. Lauren served on the communications committee. Alex served on the budget committee with Lauren as the alternate. Becky was the delegate to the New Hampshire School Board Association. Lauren served on the Wellness at Joint Loss Committee with Alex as the alternate.
Does anybody object to keeping it as it is?
Fine with
So
keeping it as it is, yeah.
One thing we need to add is a representative and ideally an alternate for negotiations with the Teachers Association.
Mhm. I can do that.
It's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of meetings.
Sometimes there's a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I mean, what, like half a dozen or
More.
Probably, maybe, yeah,
More.
ideally.
ideal?
But
Okay,
it
so
could
half a dozen to a dozen type meetings.
I'll be the alternate, and then if we can take. I mean, it's good to have the same person and be consistent.
Yeah,
Just because you're hearing valuable information.
right. And when do they usually happen? After school, I'm assuming, because a lot of the delegates are. Yeah. Is there any time of the days of the week when there's? It doesn't matter.
Not really. I'm looking to Matt, but because I've only participated once myself, but it's typically evening because that's when board members are available. And it can be, we usually pick dates together.
And is it district wide or is it? Okay, so if we all meet in Winnacunnet.
Yeah.
That okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do it, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, I would need somebody who can definitely step in because the nature of my job sometimes has me
Yeah,
out in the evenings. Okay.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
So everything else is staying as is?
Yes.
Right. Then I think you just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the following committee appointments as listed.
All right, I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay. So we said here we can move on to the presentation. All right, well, let's do that then. Without further ado, let's Let Grow project update.
Thank you. My name is Martha Johnson. most of you know me, and for most of you, this will be an update on our Let Grow project. And we started this several years ago as an initiative to create some independence for students. And so there are a couple of quick little slides we'll go through. Um, and so just take a minute, think back to a childhood memory that you treasure most. Picture it clearly. What were the sights, the sounds, the smells, the feels? Right? And click to the next. All right. So this is an independent experience that where your parents let you do your own thing. Right? Now you've got that picture in your mind. Next little click. Would you let your child do that? Has been the question we've posed to parents, because oftentimes the answer is absolutely not. Because we live in a much more kind of anxious world of keeping our kids close. And part of that is that you see that kids don't take the risks that we may have taken as younger people. So this project helps people to take some risks and to help parents kind of say, okay, what am I willing to say you can do, and let them be challenged by that. And it leans into some independence, some productive struggle, which is a big part of our mission here at Barnard School, is to allow kids to have some productive struggle. And it goes into a philosophy that we carry here at school. So not just with these projects, but just as a philosophy at school, waiting before we jump in to help students. Even I'd love to see it at the playground when the adults don't jump in to see, to rescue kids from a problem, because then kids often just engage in their own problem solving. And that is basically the philosophy of Let Grow, is to let kids figure some things out, feel a little discomfort, do things that are challenging, and see where that leads them. And what I get excited about is that kids will often ask as we do these projects is, can we keep doing these? So you can do them all year long, all the time. Keep those conversations going with your families about what you're ready to stretch to next. So next. So we've had all kinds of different projects kids have done, doing laundry, moving wood piles, redecorating their own play space, making birdhouses, walking through Amesbury independently to go to the bakehouse with their own money to get their own treats. So different parents have different things that they're, okay with having the kids do. I loved this one, and you may have seen the picture before, of a kid being very excited about doing the laundry, because part of it is looking at, doing chores and having some responsibilities at home that you can do things to help out, and it makes you feel good when you help. Another student that was excited about helping with a redecorating project and actually being able to help with power tools and so forth. So, all right. So now I want you to think about, so that's kind of been the Let Grow project that we've done for a few years. This year we added another piece to it. And I want you to think about a time that you had to struggle and work hard to learn something new or to accomplish something, right? As a kid or even as a grown-up, what have you had to do that you've had to be consistent in working at, right? And that is something that we decided to add grit into our Let Grow projects this year. So it didn't have to be a great independent project that, something that you've never done before, but what is something you'd like to do, learn, and that is hard for you right now that you want to learn how to do. Part of this, I've done a little bit of modeling with students because I've been trying to learn how to play the ukulele. I've had since the pandemic, and I decided that I was going to try to do it. So I played some really bad music for your class, right? And they've got to see that, and that, I get a little better, right? So tomorrow, the K1 class is going to go into the 2-3 class, and we're going to introduce a little song that I get to strum along with, and they can, they've learned a song, and I've had to learn how to play. So we've been demonstrating sticking to something. Right? So today I have 2 students with me who really did a nice job of representing the Let Grow project, of trying something new, different that they hadn't done before. It might have been scary, and something that showed grit. Right? So Addie Hogan, why don't you come on up first and tell us a little bit about your Let Grow project this year.
So for my Let Grow project, I went skiing down the top of the mountain. And so when I got up there, I was a little nervous, but I started going down, and I was like, oh, this is fine. And then I kept having to take wide turns. And then when I got down to this little turn that basically connected to my favorite path, it was a sharp turn that I was scared to go down. So I was too scared to just ski up. So I went on my butt and skied down. But halfway down, I got super scared. I stopped for a moment with my dad. And then there were, I think, 3 snowboarders coming around the corner, and they were going super fast. One came directly towards me and hit my elbow, but I was okay. I took a little break in the exact spot I was, then went down, then I got back up and did the rest of the mountain.
Ooh. Ah. So can you tell me a little bit again about what did it feel like when you got going up the lift, when you were going to the top and you've never been up to the top before? What did that feel like?
Oh, so the lift was a fast lift, so I felt like 1 second going up there.
Okay.
So, and what I felt like, I was super nervous because it there are black diamonds around it too, and I didn't want to like fall down a black diamond on accident, so I was just super scared.
And you did it anyway.
Mhm.
Exactly.
How did you feel when you finished?
I felt happy that I got did it, and I also was sort of crying because my elbow hurt.
I'm sorry.
Those snowboarders just get in the way, right? So I have a last question. Would you be willing to go to the top of the mountain again?
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
No snowball.
Right. Look out for those. All right. Great job. Thank you very much. Our next student that's going to share with us is Addison Margerison. Come on up. And you can see she has a prop with her. So Addison participated in our jump rope club, which Mrs. Welch, our gym teacher, and I facilitate in the month of February and March. And part of the jump rope club, we also bring out some pogo sticks for some free jumping at the end of the last like 15 minutes jump rope club time. So tell us a little bit about what it was like when you first got on the pogo stick. Hard, yeah.
And I felt like I couldn't do it.
What did it look like when you first got on? Can you demonstrate what the very first time you got on the pogo stick? What did it look like? That's exactly what it looked like. Except, I said this to earlier, except that she wasn't smiling at all. You were kind of frustrated. You were, yeah. But did you quit? No. All right. Think they want to see what you can do now? All right. Do you want to, think you got space? She's pretty good at it. Can you tell us that by the last jump rope club, hands free, do you remember how many jumps you did?
41.
41 jumps in a row. And when you first did it, could you do 2 in a row? Yeah, that's the first time. Okay, all right. So, did you practice every minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So she just, stuck with it. She didn't give up. And I will say that there were other students that got on the pogo stick the first time, and it was frustrating. Addison stuck with it. That was our good example of a kid who showed grit. So, nice job. Any questions for Addison? All right.
You practiced at home a lot? Pretty tough. You have a new goal. You want to keep getting above 41.
100 because my best friend can do it.
Wow.
Addison, was your 41 with no hands or with hands?
No hands.
No, it's 41.
How many can you do with hands?
I remember I do remember the one day you were doing it, you were going on and on and on, but we had to leave, but the club was over, so I don't know, we could have been there like for a long time. Yes, 41 with no hands. So that just gives you a little flavor about, that we're our opportunities and take them at home with kids to just, things don't always come easy. Stick with it. And these kids are learning how to do things that feel scary, makes them nervous, do it anyways. Stick with something that's hard. And those are life skills that, as part of our whole SEL philosophy here at the school, that productive struggle is key to being a productive adult.
And adults still have the struggle too.
Yes, I'm still struggling. No. All right, thank you. That's all for me.
All right, thank you, Martha.
Great job, girls.
Thank
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for bringing your daughters. Appreciate it very much.
For inviting us.
Have fun. Because I will. Thank you.
Yep, let me open it up for public comment at, my laptop is always ahead.
47.
Yeah, 4:47. Yeah, thank you. All right, well, I don't have any comments from the public at this time. I do want to say though, I'm glad that the Let Grow project continues and that it's I think that's a really important thing. So
I agree.
good. Okay, let's move on to consideration of minutes for the March 5th, 2026 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 5th, 2026 regular meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor? You?
Okay. Let's go on now to our reports. Let's go on to our SAU report, the superintendent and student services. Dr. Toomey.
Ready. Nice to see you all.
Good to see you too.
Yes, happy April. A couple of items for you this evening. The first is about recent report we received from the Department of Ed regarding indicator 4. So I'm giving this report in all of our districts this month. This particular report indicator looks at significant discrepancies in data analysis for students who may be suspended 10 or more days. So the reason for the particular indicator is to ensure that we are not suspending students for long periods of time with a discrepancy from students with disabilities to students without disabilities. And so I'm happy to say that, there are no students who are suspended for 10 days or more at Southampton. So we did not have a discrepancy in either 4A or 4B. They also look at it by race and ethnicity. And so we had zeros off across, which is really good. So just pointing that out. We also just yesterday received the annual LAE determinations for all of the indicators. And so I will be next month giving you the annual report that I have been doing every year and let you know how we did overall with all of the indicators. This is just one of many, many indicators that we are evaluated on every year in the determination. So just a little preview of what's coming. The other item is that once again this year, Southampton participated in the sudden cardiac arrest screenings. I heard from the nurse here that it went really well again this year, and they recommend that we do it every other year. So students who maybe became 5th graders this year were eligible, and students who did not participate last year. And I think we had a good turnout. I don't recall the exact number, but from what I understand, I think it was a good turnout. I heard 10 or 12.
Well, I think it's 12.
12, yeah, that sounds about right. Because of the grant, the Who We Play For grant, that group sponsored these screenings, and our families had to pay a very nominal amount to have the students screened. They have screened many, many students across Hampshire, A number of students were identified as moderate risk, and a few students were found throughout the state to be high risk. So we're proud to have offered the program to our families. We thank the families that participated. We look forward to offering it again next year. So thank you very much for doing that. That's it for me this month.
Okay, great, thank you.
So Meredith wants to provide a few updates. We do have a legislative meeting coming up. That's with SAU 90. That's scheduled for Wednesday, April 9th, or I'm sorry, April 8th. So that's gonna be our local state reps and senators, and it's really focused on discussing the remaining bills that have been passed by one body. And she also just wanted to remind the board to look out for those NHSBA emails with updates on the bills. That's some really great information in those email updates. She also noted that state assessments for grades 3 through 8 have started. Our 8th grade students will also be participating in the PSAT, and that's meant to provide some common data for the high school on both the math and literacy side. SATs are the state assessment for juniors at Winnicott. And all of the results will be shared with parents once they are made available. Both the district and statewide results are typically made or available for public in the following fall. Finally, she wanted to note that the student leadership team and parent guardian advisory council has discussed several topics this week, and that's been focused on the use of AI and ways to build community. So that information from both of those groups will be shared out to our administrative team in the next couple of weeks. And I also want to note that Dr. Cassidy's report is included on board docs. She notes that yesterday we did have the SAU-wide Professional Development Day that went really well, Trauma Responsive Unified Support Team. She also noted the PSATs that are coming up, and also just wanted to celebrate that we do have 2 sophomore students from Winnicott that have been selected to represent the state of New Hampshire at the National Students Program hosted by the Day of AI and an MIT rate. So that's pretty exciting, the AI test. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, let's go to principal's report.
Right. I will jump off of what Matt just was talking about with PSATs. We had our PSAT scheduled for this past week, but due to some glitches within the College Board system, we've had to push that out a little bit. So our date has not been finalized yet. We're waiting to hear back from College Board on that. And our New Hampshire SAS schedule has been finalized, and that is the final document will be going out to families this afternoon in the April newsletter. I added some things about some upcoming events and some experiences that our students have had. We have a variety show coming up that's put on by Miss Pruitt. And there's Miss Pruitt, how many acts do we have?
20.
20 acts. So please join us if you have time. It's on April 9th at 6:30. The teachers have also been practicing. Oh, sorry, but I'm not saying what. So please come. A couple weeks ago, our K-5 students took a field trip to the wildlife sanctuary at Ipswich River, which they had an amazing time, did some maple sugaring, spent a lot of time in nature, which was just great for them, and to see them just sitting on the edge of the little boardwalk and holding their hand out, waiting. I've never seen some of the kids sit so patiently for 15, 20 minutes waiting for the bird to land in their hand. It was remarkable. I actually took my nephews back there the following weekend, and we did the same thing because I had such a great time. I snuck on that field trip. So our grades 6 through 8 will be heading into Boston in 2 weeks as part of anticipation of the 250th celebration of our country. And they'll go on a trolley where we will have an interactive guide. They call it the Sons or Daughters of Liberty, depending on what guide we have, and take us through the city and really engage in some bring the students back in history and really thinking about what it was like to be there back then and thinking like a historian. I added a section on some civic learning updates. This was just tying in for when we had Civic Learning Week. But an additional piece that I thought was really neat was two pieces actually. One was that I may have mentioned this last week, but we had our 4 or 5 students write some questions for Marley Dias. And she is back on this page. She was an 11-year-old girl. She's now, I think, in her late teens or early 20s, who really felt strongly that there weren't enough books that represented people like her. And so she started on this campaign called #1000BlackGirlBooks campaign, which she was at the State House 3 weeks ago. It was the day we went on maple sugaring, and they did a live stream interview with her where students from all across the state got to ask questions. They actually gave us 2 shout outs or 3 where they asked questions that our students had submitted for Marley. So they announced our school. They did say we were part of Seabrook, but they did call us Barnard School. So our 4 or 5 students got to watch that after the fact and see that their questions were answered. And it was just a really neat way to see how someone, you know, even as young as 11-year-old can use their voice in a way that's appropriate and powerful and meaningful. And then I think last time we also talked about some of our other opportunities where we had the Goldilocks in Southampton trial, and then where we also had an additional opportunity where we looked at the John Brown abolitionist case in grades 7 and 8, and I was the judge for that, and that was pretty tricky, but it was a really great opportunity for students to see that process, you know, in a court of law, what that looks like. And one additional piece. So during March Madness, we participated in the March Madness Read Aloud, where teachers in every grade level read books that were selected by teachers as new and really exciting and engaging books, and students voted on them, and we did the March Madness brackets. One book that the students read was Up, Up, Ever Up, and after reading that, some of our students at recess were inspired, again, with Miss Pruitt's assistance, and they went out and started cleaning up our play yard full of trash. So one of the things that Junko in this book did was she climbed Mount Everest, but also in the meantime was picking up the trash left along the way. So our students went outside and felt really compelled to do that in our own play yard. Is playground up here being separate? Do you want me to do this now? Is there a playground?
There is a playground section, yeah.
Do you want me to jump in and do this now? Okay.
We can if you feel like it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are now passing our 3rd playground meeting with the playground committee. We have narrowed it down to, I think we finally really focused on one company, that we narrowed it down to 2. And in the last meeting, it looks like we have moved to one company. Ms. Johnson spent some time in all of the SEL classes over the past few weeks talking about the playground, showing them pictures, examples, and really looking at what the kids want and believe, you know, fits them for the playground. Ultimately, we had the pictures all on display for our playground committee meeting, and it was just really neat to see that kids from kindergarten through 8th grade, they all had very similar ideas. A lot of what they loved was exactly what we have out there now. They loved the tall towers, they loved the monkey bars, they loved the tall slide, the curly slides. So there's things that they identified that they want. There's also some other things that they all came up with that were really neat ideas. They all want something that spins. They all want, you know, the idea of a buddy bench was named over and over on kids' pictures. And lots they like little places for the kids to gather and play, things like playhouses or areas for them to kind of hang out together and spend time together. So we're looking, you know, we're identifying resources, we're identifying sort of our needs of what will it look like to construct our playground, and then what will we need to do before, you know, we set up what we anticipate will be a community build and what that will look like. And there's obviously a lot of steps to getting that play yard ready before we even begin the community build. So that's sort of where we left it, where we each are going out and figuring out what we think we need, what we can offer to the process, looking at potential costs that maybe we weren't initially thinking of, in the lines of, even though it's a community build and we'd be hiring someone to support that build, there's still costs that are going to come around that from, you know, surveying the land and things that, you know, we really just have to itemize and look at to see how much money that will end up costing us. So one other update, that after the winter thaw, the section of the playground that was not closed down did show significant rot and deterioration, just like the section we did close down. So it has not been closed because it's a lower section. We're out there every day at recess. It is not swaying at this point. It's not moving, but it is showing the same type of rot that we saw on the large structure that was showing movement. So I know originally we had possibly talked about, you know, being able to leave some parts of the structure, but at this point, that structure, you can tell it's well into the ground where the rot is happening, and it just keeps creeping up. And that was not visible before the winter. And after the thaw, I put the pictures in there, and it is very
So we have one, picked or
structure or a company.
of the playground. No, we don't have the structure yet.
No, we do not have that. We spent time talking with students, identifying what they wanted.
Right.
Then we all took the opportunity to go out and look at different structures. And before we pick a structure, we decided we needed to know some additional factors and costs to come back with, so that we know exactly how much money we actually have for the structure.
Okay. We should be able to get that wrapped up though soon, right?
That's our hope.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd like to see that. I think, right, because we want to get playground in there. And that, you know, I would just convey to the playground committee, it wouldn't really work to not have a playground in by the September 1st or whatever the first day of school is next year. We need a playground.
We are in full agreement of
Okay.
that. Well,
Or even, I mean, as soon, and even before that, because people, the community uses it.
They do.
it's-
Yeah, no, I'd like to see it as soon as possible. I mean, but you know, there's gonna be lead times.
Yep.
To getting all the stuff, the materials and so forth, and
Absolutely. And we have to, where we are moving forward with the community build, we are relying on members of the community. So once we order all of the playground stuff, once we know a delivery time, it can't be
Yeah.
sitting outside.
It's gotta happen.
It has to happen.
Right.
And we have to make sure that the community that is willing to volunteer time, materials, equipment, machinery, that they're also available at those times. So
Yeah.
we have to strategically plan that, but I am definitely in agreement with the sooner we get this going, the better.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's where we're at.
okay. All right, thank you. We will move on to the finance report. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you. So I have posted the year-to-date expenditure and revenue reports on board docs. Overall, we are tracking under budget. We currently have just under $200,000 in available funds. I do want to note that we still have 3 months remaining in the fiscal year, so there could always be unanticipated expenditures that do come up. But at the end of that fiscal year, June 30th, whatever that available balance plus the $23,000 that is being that we'll receive from the dissolution of the roof expendable trust, combined with any surplus revenue, that would result in a final unreserved fund balance number that would then be returned to the town to offset property tax assessment. I will note that in addition to those factors, that unreserved fund balance will be reduced by the contributions to the building maintenance, the tuition stabilization, and special education expendable trusts that were voted on and passed at ballot in March, and that totaled $65,000. Additionally, the board will have the ability to retain a portion of that balance for any future emergencies, anticipated costs, when the books close and we meet in September. So that's after the books close. So we're in good shape. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions.
You guys good? Yep. Okay. Thank you, Matt. All right, let's move on to last day of school.
So the last day of school is in
June 12th.
on board docs.
Yep.
Yep.
Early release.
Perfect.
And I'll also note that sorry, just pulling it up, the last day for our educational associates is the 16th, and our teachers is the 17th. So there were 2 snow days and 5 late openings. And we do count our days via hours, not full days.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So next meeting dates, the school board meeting for Southampton, May 7th, and then operations committee meeting for the SAU is May 11th. All right, let's go into non-public. So we can discuss renominations. So we turn this off.
We have to make a motion.
Oh, yeah.
to-
Let's make a motion to enter non-public at 5:07 PM.
Second. And we're going in under A.
Oh, hold on. Yep. Under RSA 91-A3, 2.
And second was Becky? Yep. And roll call, Alex?
Yep.
Becky?
Yes.
Yes. You are now in, so, Cameron, you can turn
Video on too, please.